I'm going to demonstrate playing the game Words for Evil using voice control. This is a typing game in the style of a standard RPG where you just grind through levels, and it's a bit like playing Boggle under pressure. It also works well with two different voice recognition softwares, the spell mode in Dragon NaturallySpeaking and the keyboard mode in VoiceFinger, because it only recognises spoken letters rather than words. Selecting from the menu is easy, you just say the first letter of whichever option you want. Though you will need a mouse to select the lower difficulty level, Zen. The fighting environment looks like this. You say your letters one by one, you can't chain them, and then say space to submit them. There are certain letters with a colour on them which correspond to each of your adventurers. And when you make words with these inside them, it activates one of their special powers, depending on how many coloured letters you used. The grid of letters can be reshuffled by pressing Shift. There are also shopkeepers who sell potions to recover health and briefly increase damage. However, each voice recognition solution has a couple of downsides. Dragon seems to confuse the letter N for M now and then. And when you need to move through a menu with the cursor keys, you have to say press left, press right, press enter multiple times. When VoiceFinger browses those menus, you can more quickly say left one, right one, enter each time. But it sometimes confuses the letter O for the key home and the letter I for Y. And it frequently confuses the letter R for the word dollar, which means it presses Shift and one of the number keys, which then shuffles your letters and ruins your word. Both letter-related errors can be compensated for by using the phonetic alphabet in full, or just remembering to say the phonetic word for the troublesome letters. Overall, I'd say VoiceFinger is better for this as it responds more quickly, whereas if you mispronounce something to Dragon it can spend a few seconds trying to figure out if you meant to say a command. There is a lot to do in the game, and I think it took me 6 hours to max out the levelling for 2 of the 19 characters. So if I chose to level them all up, I'd have nearly 50 hours of gameplay to go. Sadly there's no story, but it is nice and somewhat minimalist. Finally, the longer you adventure, the faster the enemies attack and with greater strength. Some adventurers have a healing power, but you may struggle to activate it fast enough to keep your team alive. So if you want to, you can use Cheat Engine's speed hack to slow it down when one of them is about to die, so that you can generate words much more quickly than normal and help them recover. For example, you can set your hotkeys for speeds like 1.0, 0.6 and 0.3, and activate them by saying press followed by the key combination. But even when you lose a character from your party, you occasionally run into additional party members wanting to join you, including ones that perished, and you can always start a new party in a recently unlocked world. I'll make a video of a long play session to go with this.